Yeah, X is going through on and off outages today, and it's a deeply nerve-wracking experience for us because we've realized how much we rely on this platform for our content and curating everything that we talk about, and also just feeling like we're plugged into the conversation, whatever that means. And it's a big wake-up call, maybe.
To put a girl on.
Thank you.
We'll just restart.
Oh.
Okay. Hold, please. Let's reboot.
I have been looking for updates on this all day, and I don't know if this is even the most new information, but it says, as of Monday, March 10th, 2025, X, formerly known as Twitter, experienced its third outage of the day, with thousands of users reporting issues accessing the platform. The service had been restored for the majority of users earlier in the day, but it went down again shortly after. The outages are affecting users differently across regions, but now we have updates. Elon Musk has responded to the situation and said there still is a massive cyber attack against X. We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group and/or a country is involved.
Wonder which country that would be.
And then he just said tracing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then directly after he posted that about the situation, the app went down once again. And we weren't even able to look at his statement. I'm like, can you just put this out somewhere else where we can actually read it, dude?
Oddly enough, right?
So we have changed a lot about the way that we're doing our show today, actually, because normally, we just source so much of what we talk about from X. And there was a lot that I wanted to get into about the premiere of Blake Lively's new movie and other things that we can't do unless we can rely on this platform.
Yeah, one of the funniest things I've noticed is, like, if you're out of town, I do almost no X links, because when it's me and you, we have two people where one can pick up dead air if somebody's looking for something, and there's a way that we can transition between talking points that kind of begets having a bunch of links and stuff open. Like when IRL does their show, they've got like 5 or 6 links, maybe a few more, depending on whether they have supplemental material for whatever they're talking on. We have folders and folders of stuff. Like the fact that this computer every day is like, I'm tired, boss.
Please.
Like it's time for me to go off into the sunset. But you know, the thing about this is like we're in the middle of Musk derangement syndrome every bit as much as there is Trump derangement syndrome these days. And I think for the most part, there's less crossover there amongst X users and people that really, really hate Musk, because the people that I've seen in the real world that have Musk derangement syndrome aren't the ones that are sitting on X talking about him or even on Blue Sky. They're kind of in the same way that Trump kind of ignited political normies to hatred. Musk has now done that in the same way.
Yeah, but I can say that that specific Elon derangement syndrome is one I suffer from.
I know.
I do dislike the guy.
I know. I don't dislike him
just
as
in
much,
a different way.
I don't dislike him as much as I have a general mistrust of him, the same way I mistrust.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, that's basically what I mean. I don't sit around like seething and like huffing and puffing about.
But I feel
Elon,
the same way about Zuckerberg or
Sure.
Bezos or any other person of that stature. That's not hatred for me. It's more a general weariness. Like there's almost nothing that can inspire that level of anger with me that's like a real world person. Most of the time it has to do with properties that I love that they go and ruin. But even then, I kind of acknowledge that if Jeff Bezos wants to ruin James Bond, or if Warner Brothers wants to ruin Harry Potter, then that's worth bitching about. But I'm not going to kind of attach that to a person and turn that into a personality type, the way that a lot of people have done with HBO and David Zaslav, who there are people on a certain side of like film Twitter that absolutely categorically despise him and go off at any chance they can and try to weave him into any discussion.
Yeah.
Like you could be talking about something completely separately and like, well, I know that's why And then out of left field, they mention something getting canceled at HBO or Warner Brothers and how it's Jeff Bezos or it's David Zaslav's fault. So like now
Right.
in
They have
20
Zaslav derangement
in
syndrome.
2025, because look, there's this weird like hatred of billionaires. The show Paradise, which I did finish, it was fine. You might like it. It has that written all over it, and I tweeted as like, what millionaire like is subsidizing this show to complain about billionaires? Like which millionaire greenlit this show to complain about billionaires? But there's like this small targeted demographic of people now that have become cults of personality, as well as the whole idea of having that much money being a defining factor for people. Where it wasn't before. They were just the rich guys. But that didn't necessarily mean billionaires. That could have been anyone from a dude with $1 million all the way up to people worth billions of dollars.
Well, I even saw some people, again, protesting against Elon on the street corner this weekend. They are dedicated. They're going to be back.
Oh, yeah. Like, okay.
And this is, I mean, I know that Elon derangement syndrome is really breaking out of just the online space on Blue Sky because of headlines that came out today. Anti-Musk demonstrations grow across the U.S. as protesters attack Tesla showrooms with Molotov cocktails and guns.
This is just sad. This
Roughly,
photo.
yeah, who are these people? Like, what does their
sad.
life look like? Roughly 250 activists were gathered outside of a Tesla showroom in New York City holding anti-Elon Musk placards that read, "Block fascism now, Musk must go," as they shouted, "Elon Musk is not elected, democracy must be protected." 5 protesters were arrested for disorderly conduct at that demonstration.
You'd have to ask those people, like, do you understand that one of the biggest complaints that the people that you have been at war with for the last 10 years has been all of the unelected bureaucrats in the government that have a say in how things are run?
Wow, there have been more than a dozen attacks of vandalism against Tesla vehicles, dealerships, and charging stations since Trump's inauguration alone. Not even since his victory. But now Tesla facilities are facing protests around the country.
And now we've got Mike Myers parroting Elon Musk on SNL.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
Make
like,
whatever jokes you want. It's fine.
Part of the public consciousness more than he ever was before.
Right. Yeah, and he used to be more on the level of, like, I don't even know. He wasn't really a household name. He was famous among, like, tech bros. And he was also very much like a normie lib for most of his public life up until very
socially
recently.
he probably agrees with them on a lot of that stuff. The only way in which you might construe that differently is like he tells people to have a lot of kids, but even then he's not necessarily saying traditional families because he's going the IVF route with most of his kids. I still think I think that maybe Elon was busy making baby number 15 today, and that's why X was down, as he couldn't be reached to fix the issue.
4 Tesla Cybertrucks were set on fire overnight at a storage lot in Seattle.
Did you see the
recently.
video of like the family driving in their Cybertruck, and the guy was like comes up alongside and was like hitting on the window?
No.
There was like kids in the car.
What the hell? See, I just feel like people are walking around in a state of heightened anxiety and manic anger lately, even not related to anything political or anything like that.
Well, it's because your phone is in your pocket.
People are very on edge lately.
It's because your phone is in your pocket every day telling you the end of the world is here.
Is it even that?
Yes.
Like, I feel like it might go even deeper, like just sociologically, something is brewing.
Look, the
and
thing
it's disturbing.
This can all be traced back to 2012 and onward, when your phone and the internet consistently landed in your pocket at all times, when unlimited data became a thing, and you had access to headlines and X and news outlets 24/7 and Facebook. You know, before then, you might be arguing with your family on Facebook every so often. But that was the primer, the ability for you to argue with your relatives and friends about stuff that wouldn't matter in the real world anyway, like the headlines to articles that nobody read. And that primed people to have their information in their pocket. And now you're hearing about crap going on half a world away, and they're telling you that this is the end of the world. And you look down the street and your street looks the same as it did before. You know, your neighborhood looks the same as it ever did, but you're being bombarded by information 24/7. And there's a reason why information warfare is something that they teach. You know, it's effective. And people's brains were never really meant to be bombarded 24/7 by such information.
Yeah.
Like when you really, really think about it in your everyday life before, I mean, you might not even remember this, but there was once a time where, you know, if you were young, and unless you were going into to politics as a matter of course in college, or you were really, really into activism, you didn't really much care about what was going on in the news, right? Like there's a whole generation of kids who they didn't necessarily like what was going on in Iraq or Afghanistan, but they didn't really care either because it didn't affect their lives day to day. And that type of ambivalence probably kept a lot of people from going insane, because once people lost that ambivalence, they didn't learn techniques to discern information once they got interested in caring.
Right. There are dissonant messages there. Like when you're inside and you look down at your phone and you see the latest outrage cycle that's about to get replaced in 5 minutes to 24 hours, then you look out the window and it's clear as day. You can't really compartmentalize those things. Like you cannot have an accurate view of reality anymore, and I think it's really setting people off and sending people into a spiral.
So you go to X and you look down the news trending tab. Now obviously this would be different for everybody depending on what they're looking at.
Let me look at mine.
Cyber attack on X, multiple outages reported. Palestinian activist detained, faces deportation under new policy. DC dismantles Black Lives Matter Plaza. Trump administration launches self-deportation app. Gym policy sparks inclusivity debate in St. Louis. USAID overhaul. Rubio cancels 83% of programs. So look, depending on where you get your information, it was like I saw the one people yesterday talking about why are we firing air traffic controllers when we can just tax billionaires more? Then I have to be like, I don't care. I don't care enough about this person to go and find the articles that say no air traffic controllers were fired in the process of any of this going on. USAID was not USAID, but foreign aid was halted for 30 days, not canceled indefinitely. But I don't care enough to go and engage this person because their views are already set most of the time. If you're at the posting political memes portion of it, for a lot of people, you're past arguing with.
True.
And I don't care enough.
Yeah, and I looked at some of the responses from those same people on their Refuge platforms, including Reddit and Threads and, of course, Blue Sky, which still exists. I forgot about that.
Blue Sky?
One of them
it had its moments.
Said, if X is down, it should stay down. The world is better off without it. F Elon Musk. Wait, people still use Twitter? But
imagine saying that from Blue Sky.
This was cheeky. But I was told everything was fine after Elon fired most of his staff.
I laugh at that one too because it's like they got it up working in like half a day with half the staff. So are you saying that it was worth the 80% bloat to fix it in 7 hours rather than 9?
It's still down. Space Karen fired the wrong guy. That's what they're calling him now. Space Karen. I haven't heard that one before. And then when you open Blue Sky, like we both opened Blue Sky this morning, and the first thing that we saw is just someone holding up a sign that says childhood vaccines cause adulthood. And then you go further. It's official from Stephen King. The lunatics are now running the asylum. And then I look on Threads, and the first thing I see is, I'm not interested in politics. Well, politics is interested in you. Nothing in your life is going to change until you understand the policies being used to rob you blind. This is why people cannot live a moment's peace.
Also, the policies have been robbing you blind for like 80 to 100 years.
Oh, another one.
It's not unique to one specific party.
One day we will wake up to the news that we have been waiting over 8 years for. Can you guess what that might be?
I don't even want to guess. It's got to do with Trump, right?
Yeah.
And bad stuff happen. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yep.
People are awfully brave.
It's they're just the unhappiest people on earth.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm like that much happier than them.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all part of this same ecosystem online.
But I mean,
taxing.
There are definitely
mentally.
days where I'm like, someday I'm gonna get fired, and I'm just gonna be able to delete my ex, and
You're gonna go off the grid.
and go off the social media,
Off the social media grid.
or no, at least off the information social media grid. I'll still post skating on Instagram.
Sure.
Skating, like, there's a reason why I keep skating on Instagram and X, and I don't even talk about politics on X. I talk about movies and TV, but that's where you get all that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, whenever somebody's post on Instagram ends up being about politics, I'm like, what are you doing invading this is my safe space. Get out of here. This is my safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
All right. Let's the sad fact is, though, is we need the platform. It is very, very important for our job.
Well, hopefully it will be back fully and reliably tomorrow, because I need it tomorrow.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.